Let's take a look at our top stories right now at 4 o'clock. The Food and Drug Administration is making a push for restaurants and food manufacturers to cut sodium in food. The organization is pointing to an epidemic of diet-related illnesses. They recommend reducing a person's average daily sodium intake by 12%. Local 4's Sarah Krug spoke with local restaurants and a local doctor to learn more about what the new recommendation means for the Quad Cities.
Most of the people have habits of eating more outside. And when they are eating outside, and there are a lot of fast food, and they are also, when the food gets to the restaurant, they are also in a prepackaged food supply. Is one of the high risk factor for heart disease, heart attack, and also stroke.
With heavy sodium consumption being a leading cause of high blood pressure, the Food and Drug Administration encourages restaurants and food manufacturers to gradually decrease sodium in their food.
You think Chipotle is the healthier choice compared to Burger King or McDonald's? Here's the catch. One tortilla alone adds over 300 calories, 10 grams of fat, and nearly 700 milligrams of sodium before you even add meat or cheese. That's like loading your gear with hidden weight you didn't plan for. Stay with me, because what looks like a clean burrito build is actually a calorie bomb waiting to sabotage your energy and focus.
Chips. The head of Chipotle these days feeling optimistic. The model at their 3,700 restaurants across the country, fresh food served with a smile at a fair price. And it's the price, whether at Chipotle or anywhere else, customers think about. President Trump now signaling those tariffs could roll out as early as this week, which may mean higher prices on things like avocados and tomatoes.
We're all vying for share of wallet with the same consumer.
CEO Scott Boatwright, near Chipotle headquarters in Newport Beach, says that's the kind of thing that keeps him up at night. Economic pressures like inflation and the potential for new tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
So what happens when you stack queso, vinaigrette, and double rice on top of that? The answer will surprise you. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
Here's why Deanna Walter, owner of Cafe de Marie in Davenport, says her restaurant works to provide customers with low sodium options.
Health can be fun. It can be rewarding. It doesn't have to be restricting.
And when you put more salt, it will be a more problem because people don't understand that it's risking their health in a way.
But Deanna believes foods can be tasty and still healthy. Doctors warn many restaurants use unhealthy amounts of sodium to add flavor for their food.
More you're trying to make it tastier in the restaurant because their goal is to people to come back.
You think the tortilla is the harmless foundation of a burrito, but it may be one of the heaviest parts before you add anything inside. Most customers walk into Chipotle already thinking about the fillings. They debate between white rice or brown, chicken or steak, beans or no beans. The wrap itself seems invisible, only a vessel to hold everything together. That's exactly why most people never stop to think about what it's actually adding to the meal. That tortilla by itself carries over 300 calories, nearly 10 grams of fat, and close to 700 milligrams of sodium.
We try to keep it so that your daily allowance is still maintained, but still enjoying the flavor. You don't feel restricted, and you feel like you can still eat out instead of constantly at home.
Once person gets used to the salt in the taste, it's very hard to change when they get adult because the taste buds get used to that sensation.
Especially in these times, I think it's good to get out and socialize.
The FDA recommends individuals gradually decrease their sodium intake by about 12%. The current recommended amount one should consume each day is about 2,300 milligrams.
It's not just a base, it's a full portion by any measure, and none of the weight is visible. If you were packing a rucksack for a 3-day patrol and somebody slipped in a gear pouch you didn't ask for, that extra load would make a difference over time. Tortilla works in the same way, an unseen drag on performance before the main items even arrive. Soldiers and endurance athletes know to account for every ounce in their packs, yet nutrition miscalculations happen in the same fashion. One staple overlooked, repeated again and again, reduces stamina under pressure. To keep the tortillas pliable across long supply chains, hydrogenated oils and preservatives are used. That undercuts the handmade look and reminds us these wraps are processed products engineered to travel, not fresh dough pressed a few minutes before serving. Now put it all together. Rice on both sides, extra cheese, double portions of protein. In a few short moves, the calorie count breaks 1,000, And that's before guac, chips, or a drink. Those hidden layers push the body into a spike and crash pattern. Mid-shift fatigue, dehydration, and dulled concentration follow, the exact opposite of sustained strength. The tortilla isn't just a container, it's the first trap. Ignore it, and the entire mission of fueling correctly is compromised from the start. But the real shock shows up in the smaller extras, the queso and vinaigrette that almost no one questions. Yet they quietly turn a burrito into an all-day sodium overload. What seems like a harmless side can actually outweigh the main meal in damage. This is where the health halo at Chipotle shatters. Most people see queso or vinaigrette as optional extras that simply personalize an order. The logic sounds easy, just an added scoop for variety, just a drizzle for flavor. What goes unnoticed is how quickly those choices shift the meal from balanced fuel to a heavy load the body strains to process. Take queso. A single serving carries more than 1,200 milligrams of sodium. For a soldier in the field, that's over half the recommended daily ceiling in one scoop of melted cheese. It's the nutritional equivalent of pouring an entire hydration packet into a single swallow of water. It overwhelms the system instead of sustaining it. Rather than spreading electrolytes across steady intake, the body is hit with one jolt, leaving it parched and fighting to regulate fluids in the hours that follow. Vinaigrette plays the same deceptive role. Many reach for it assuming it will lighten the meal. Instead, that packet holds 220 calories and 16 grams of fat. On paper, that rivals full entrees from other chains. Added on top of rice, beans, and protein, and the math no longer resembles a light choice. Service members who think they're building a leaner or fresher bowl actually add the same weight to their intake as a side order of fries, only hidden behind the label of a salad dressing. Stack that with carnitas, one of the most popular proteins. Braising loads the meat with fat. Reheating in batches means salt is added again and again. Layer this with queso or vinaigrette, and the balance tips fast. These surges of sodium and fat cause bloating, dehydration, and slow focus. Hazards in routines that demand precision. What look like harmless extras are, in reality, hidden saboteurs. And the most troubling part is how branding masks this with images of freshness, even though centralized processing tells a very different story. The real danger has never been one tortilla or one scoop of queso. It's the stack of hidden sodium, fats, and preservatives that build behind the promise of freshness. Each step that seems small compounds into a load that undermines focus, endurance, and recovery. That's why it's not enough to trust the marketing language at the counter. If readiness and stamina matter, then the supply chain behind the food matters just as much as the ingredients listed in the store. In strategy and in meals, the unseen details carry the most risk. What you don't track can quietly compromise the mission.